having a conversation with you guys, with these amazing filmmakers, 3 of the bright stars shining with this film. The brilliant director, Gina Prince-Bythewood, brilliant, award-winning, and all of these people on this panel are award-winning, I should say. The brilliant award-winning actress, Thuso. Lead actress of the film and the film's producer, Viola.
About dreams and the thing about being on the periphery of this profession, all the people who usually don't get the golden goose. I mean, come on, we talk about it. Women, after you reach a certain age, people of color. But the big lesson was that we are in charge of our dreams.
Yeah.
We're the orchestrators, we're the facilitators, and it's a testament to never stopping and giving up. Yeah.
Look like? What did it entail? How long were those days? What was that process like? Because all of these inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. Okay. It was a lot. While we were still in LA, I think like a typical day would be on a Monday. I had to be here in Beverly Hills for an hour of like running, sprinting training with Jerome Davis.
Okay, you lost me there. Running. Now we're running?
No, because there's 2 tells in an action film. You have to be able to run, you have to be able to punch. And so I needed them to run well.
Okay. See, this is all intel. This is okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You had running training.
Yeah,
this
running training for an hour. It was always hard for me because why am I running? Like in high school, when we had the option to run, I chose to run away from running. And then from there, I would drive to Van Nuys, Encino? Van Nuys, yeah, for 3.5 hours of stunts with Danny Hernandez and the team. So we do a range of different things like choreo, combat training, fighting, punching, weapons, always with Viola. Because at the beginning, we didn't know what our characters' weapons of choice were, so we would work with the machete, the staff, different things until it was established that, okay, Naniska is with the machete, and now he's gonna get the machete, and then only did I focus on the machete. But then my character is very DIY, she's not just stuck on one thing, like the rope dart. There was a point where I had to learn the rope dart. And I learned the rope. We were filming in South Africa when I was told that, okay, now this is what she's gonna do. So it's like, oh, okay. And then we would have Gabriella McLean, who was just specifically for physical strength training. But with Gabby, when we started with her, she did a DNA test on each of us to determine what would be the best training regimen for the individual. Because our bodies.
Do we have her number? I think that now. I need it in my life right now. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, because obviously we're all built differently, and our training had to complement that. We weren't trying to change our bodies to be something that they're not, but enhance that which came naturally to us. And so obviously with Nawi, she isn't as big as the other people, as the other warriors. Apparently I'm small, I don't know. I don't know what that was about. But apparently I wouldn't be convincing and like taking down like a 6-foot man. So we had to rely on speed, agility, flexibility. And so that's what we were working towards with Gabby and Danny. Viola's would have been different. She can speak on hers because she had to bulk up.
Yeah, exactly, Viola. And this is one of the things that I wanted to touch on, and I want to bring it back to your training, because you transform. It's so transformative. A lot of the roles that you're taking on, you're doing complete transformations. And this was a complete transformation. Yeah.
So I'd be on that treadmill going, I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die! Seriously, but the hour and a half, Gabby kept, adding more and more and more weights for me to bulk up. And then she gave me a picture of a weightlifting woman. She's like, I want your body to look like this. And I said, well, let me tell you something, Gabby, that shit ain't gonna happen. Okay? Whatever we get, by the time we get to South Africa, is what you gonna get. And then the 3.5 hours of martial arts, which, you're doing the elbow, and the punching. I loved the punching. But when I had to do the choreo, me and Thuso, oh my God. Because we had to do it side by side and take down, what, would you say 12, 13, 14 men? And I would be slipping on the mats in my own sweat. And I have to say, after a certain point, after you say, I can't do this, Gina doesn't know what she's doing. Gina's crazy. Gina's crazy. Sony is crazy. When you go down the list of all the crazy people, they're not crazy, right? I just didn't want to do it,
What was at stake for my character? Because there were days where I was just like, what am I doing? This is so hard. How do I get out of this and still save face in Hollywood? But then there was a moment where I fully realized that whatever it is that I am going through as Thuso is actually nothing compared to what a real life Agujie trainee would have had to go through, and so I had to build that. And in as much as I was going through that, every single other person, every single castmate was also going through the same process and finding that. And so that helped us understand and respect each other. And so it was always about showcasing humans that are existing in a particular point in time. They have dreams, they have desires, they have passions, they have people that they care about. They're fighting for their kingdom, and so our conversations were always rooted in that. And so even in crafting Naui, from deciding what her hair is to the costume, in conversations with the HODs, and even with the weapon, that she has, her relationship with Naniska, it was all those conversations, but ultimately saying, we're telling the story of human beings who lived. We're not just kind of making it up for the sake of entertainment.
But if I were to be so bold, first of all, as actors, your job is to always create a human being. I don't care if you're doing a movie that is poorly written, which, by the way, those should be the actors getting awards. Because if you're making bad shit work, you're pulling out all your tools. But people have to know that Black artists exist. It's too easy to ignore. Every year, we have, if it's a great year, we may have 2 or 3 films that are in the conversation that have actors of color in it. And people are like, aren't we doing great? And a lot of times, as a producer, you're in those rooms, you're pushing these films that are complicated, that are different, that don't necessarily say black, 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 but say human, 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 and you're convincing people, you're wheeling, you're dealing, you're hustling. I want people to know that we are complicated people too. Complicated history, complicated humanity, complicated emotional life. And I feel that if you receive that, I think that's everything. Listen, when I started out, there's so many things that I never was as a Black actress. Like Viola, you know you're not attractive. Oh, Viola, I have a great role for you. You're playing the best friend of so-and-so, which would be a major white character. And it would be a shitty role for both of us, but mine would be the shittiest. And so I would just be partnering with her with a really shitty role, with her shitty role. And then I had to celebrate it. Here's the thing at the end of the day. What is it that we live for as artists? Okay, we live for our art. We live for exploring it. We live for creating complicated characters, complicated storylines that are messy. I don't care even if it's controversial, that's what we want. We want what our white counterparts want. We want the same things. We want the same possibilities. We want the same complicated stories. And I feel that when you watch this, I think that's what you're getting. I think that's what you're feeling. I've never seen this before. Blah, 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 blah. We want to keep going. And that's what, and here's the other thing I want people to get, that black women can lead a global box office.